Hey team, today I'm going to take you guys through how to best maintain health and fitness and even body composition during lockdown. Now I know there's crazy times at the moment, so much uncertainty, so many things changing so quickly. So I thought the best way I can help is to show up here, give you guys my top 10 tips on what you can be doing and focusing on to get through this as best as possible, stay healthy and really look after yourself and maybe even get leaner in the process. Number one would be to keep your resistance training going, okay? Resistance training is what maintains our muscle mass and our strength. If we stop the stimulus of any like weights or even body weight, for example, resistance work through our muscles, our legs or our abs or our upper body, for example, that muscle tends to drop away fairly quickly as well. And it's not easy to come by. So I would maintain a level of strength as best you possibly can through resistance training, you know, push-ups and sit-ups and squats and lunges, etc. We're lending out some equipment at the moment for you guys to be able to have some equipment to weight train with dumbbells and kettlebells and different things like that. But you can do some pretty good body weight training as well and still get stimulus through the muscles as well. Now, why is this important as well? Is because it's very easy at the moment to get caught up in a mindset where things are a bit doom and gloom, so I just won't train. But I highly encourage you guys, keep that ticking over. Try to get at least 3 or 4 resistance sessions across the week will be a great way to maintain. If you're looking to just maintain muscle and strength, you don't actually need to do that much. In order to gain strength and muscle, we need to do quite a lot, but the maintenance side of things can happen at a fairly low volume as well. So you don't need to kill yourself to maintain, that level of muscle and strength, but just doing a few times a week is a fantastic way to look after yourself right now. Number 2 is to keep cardio going. We want to keep cardio in our training program a couple of times a week at least to try and keep your cardiovascular health at a good level and to help burn a bit of extra energy as well to control body composition as we're potentially moving less. Because what's happening for a lot of people is people are working from home at the moment. People are going out less. We're being encouraged to stay home in our homes at the moment. So we're spending a lot more time sitting and a lot less time even moving, okay? So what I recommend is that keeping cardio in there will keep you fitter and healthier. So getting a couple of cardio sessions in per week at the moment. The sessions that I've been putting you guys through have been a combination of both. So I'm just helping you kill 2 birds with 1 stone in a shorter amount of time, which is really cool. But you can separate them if you really want. But a great way to do it is to combine them in together like we have been as well. Number 3 is to get your steps up. Get your steps up is a super challenging one right now. Like I just mentioned, there's so much less movement happening because of all the shutdowns and lockdowns and distancing regulations that are coming into play right now. So what I highly recommend with your steps is, well, firstly, why is this so important? Your daily step count, which is like a part of your NEAT, your non-exercise activity thermogenesis, NEAT, is a huge calorie burner each day. Can be from 20, 30, even 40% of your daily calories burned come from your movement, okay? Up here, weight training and cardio is usually 5 or 10% of a daily calorie burn. Then we've got our resting BMR, the calories that our body takes just to keep us alive, to breathe, etc. But a huge portion of our calorie burn lies here. Now, the reason I think this is important is because from a health perspective, if we all of a sudden stop moving a lot and we reduce our activity level and we keep our intake of food the same, guess what's going to happen? We're going to gain body fat, and we're probably going to gain it at a pretty quick rate as well. So another thing, like, people have been talking about comfort eating as well and having more alcohol, and all these little things can creep in and can encourage the fat gain that can happen quite quickly. So from a health perspective, staying leaner is actually healthier to a certain point. You don't need to get, sub 10, 9, 8% into ridiculous levels of body fat. But one of the healthiest things that overweight people can do is reduce their body fat percentage, because their health markers will improve, their cardiovascular disease risk goes down, their blood markers improve, all these sorts of things. So getting your steps up, guys, is super, super important in staying active. I recommend tracking your daily steps, number 1, to keep you accountable. So grab yourself, get a tracker of some sort and track your daily steps on a daily basis. Shoot for about 8 or 10,000 steps per day, which if you're staying home a lot, it's pretty challenging. So some recommendations around that would be, how can you make fun, like turn situation into a bit of fun that's working on this in terms of cleaning the house, mopping the floor, sweeping, taking the garbage out, rearranging stuff you wanted to do, doing some painting, dancing, spending time with loved ones, interacting, engaging, going for walks, if we're still allowed to go outside, for example. And I encourage you to start to really experiment, find ways, get creative, and have fun with how can you get your steps up there. Like for example, I'll clean the gym and that helps me get my steps up. And I find when you frame it in the sense that this is improving my health, my fitness, my daily activity level, burning energy, keeping me leaner, all of a sudden cleaning the gym isn't that bad at all, or mopping the floor at home, okay? It's all about perspective, remember? The frame that we're choosing to look at the situation through, the lens that we're looking through. So yeah, get creative on getting your steps up. Let me know how you can get that. Another cool point there is to gamify your steps. Set yourself a challenge, in terms of how many steps you can get out in a certain period, or against somebody as well. Let's keep each other accountable in our private group on Facebook, and let me see what your steps are per day, for example. How many steps can you get in one of our workout sessions if you push yourself that little bit harder, and allow all that to help you upregulate it. But gamifying things as well, another great way to help on that front. Keeping our protein intake up. Now, this is important for a lot of reasons. One of the big ones is like maintaining our muscle and strength, and also the recovery factor from the training that we're doing as well. And we want to try and shoot for at least 1.5 grams for females. Guys, I prefer up to 2 grams per kilo of body weight per day. So for a male who is 80 kilos, that would be 160. So 2 grams per kilo of body weight would be 160 grams of protein per day. Now, if we eat a meal, say we have, breakfast, lunch, and dinner, and we have a couple of eggs, and then we have pasta for lunch, and then we have a steak for dinner, roughly we might hit 80 grams of protein, and that might be only 50% of what the requirements or the recommendation is as well. So what I normally find is that we need to make an effort, a conscious effort, to get our protein up to meet our targets. So how can we do that? Adding in a couple of shakes a day, a real simple way. Increasing your portion sizes of protein-based foods, meats and dairies and things like that are high in protein. Google high protein foods, have a look at a list of some foods that are high protein and include them into your diet as well, and just make a real conscious effort to boost up your protein at the moment, to keep yourself nice and fit and healthy and strong through this process. Nutrients. Eat plenty of high quality nutritious foods. So nutrients like micronutrients are super important, all our vitamins and minerals that come into the body to keep us healthy. And a lot of times people are hoarding food right now, right? And they're going to tin food and packaged food, which is lower in micronutrients. What I highly encourage you guys to do is keep plenty of variety in your nutrition right now, or in general. Eat lots of different colors. Eat a lot of fruits and vegetables of different sources and stuff. And I know it's challenging right now as well, but in the grocery stores right now, there's been all the canned stuff and all the long life stuff, which is lower in micros, is what people are stocking up on. So the good thing is there we can still get fruits and berries and lots of different vegetables and stuff to look after our health and get plenty of nutrients into the body too. So recommend, quality of food is super important right now. Another big factor, guys, think about it. All of these things here are going to contribute to our immune system, the strength of our body, our health, and our immune system, to prevent or reduce the chances of us getting sick, or even the effect if we do get sick with the coronavirus that's going around right now as well. So look at your nutrition. How can you include more nutrients into your day? A really good, like the way I gamify this, with nutrients, I'll make a shake once a day, most days, and I'll say to myself, and this is what I recommend doing, how many different micronutrients and different varieties of food can you get into the shake? So for example, I'll put blueberries and banana, and then maybe some chia seeds and flax seeds, and then protein powder and some raw eggs and some spinach, and then maybe apple juice, and like all these different things, and try and put maybe 10 ingredients into one shake. Blend that baby up. It helps to hit protein as well as nutrients at the same time. Super easy, super convenient, low cost, everything. Awesome way to do it. But heaps of different ways you can go about it, but just focus on the principle of eating plenty of nutrient dense foods right now. Number 6, is drinking plenty of water. Keep yourself very, very well hydrated at the moment, and also in general. A lot of these principles apply at any point in time, but especially right now. When some recommendations here is that the first thing you should do when you wake up in the morning, within the first, say, 10, 20 minutes, is grab yourself a big glass of water to hydrate your body. When we breathe, we actually exhale. As we breathe out, we lose some of the water in our body. So what I recommend doing, hydrate first thing in the morning. You'll feel better. You'll have more energy. You'll be able to train harder, recover harder as well. And I find so many people don't drink enough water. The recommendation there is 3 to 4 liters per day. But if you're more active, then more. And if you're bigger and heavier, then you'll probably need a bit more as well. But make sure you're getting plenty of water into you on a daily basis. A way that I set targets for myself or for clients sometimes to keep you accountable is maybe get a 1 liter bottle, fill it up, start it first thing in the morning, and make sure I drink 3 or 4. For me, I would drink 4 of those as a minimum per day to stay hydrated. If we're somewhere along the lines of like 2% dehydrated, we lose like 10 or 20% of our performance capabilities, whether it be like mental clarity and stuff, but also physical training as well. So many people will get headaches and they won't feel well, they'll be low in energy and different things, and won't even realize that they could just simply, rather than need to take Panadol and Nurofen, etc., they're probably just dehydrated and need to drink a little bit more water, and they'll feel better and have more energy, and it will help their health big time. Number 7, focus on sleep. Sleep is a huge factor when we look at health and recovery and concentration and brain function and all different aspects of our life and our performance. So what I want you guys to do, and I highly recommend this, is aim for at least 7 to 8 hours of like good quality restful sleep. Now sometimes that's challenging. I've got a 5-month-old baby boy now, and so the last 5 months I've definitely found out that some of the challenges around sleep, but just do the best you possibly can to get as much sleep across the week as you can. So if you have a bad night, maybe you can have a couple of naps. Maybe you can make up for it the night after, just to try and keep that weekly average of sleep up as high as possible. Because when we start to lose sleep, stress levels in the body go up, our recovery capabilities drop down, our decision-making capabilities drop down, and there's a lot of different side effects. There's even research that shows people that are sleep deprived have the same inhibitions that people have when after they've had a few drinks. They're not able to make clear decisions, etc. So yeah, from a sleep perspective, there's so much you can look into in terms of the benefits of it, but I'm just keeping it sort of a bit more general today to share as much content as possible before we dive a little bit deeper into topics. But yeah, focus on good quality sleep. Now, a few tips on how to get better quality sleep. The darker the room, the better. Block all the light out as possible. The more technology you can get out of your room, the better. The earlier you can get off technology before going to bed, the better. The exposure to blue light from like TVs and computer screens and phones signals the body that it's actually time to wake up. It thinks that it's the sun, and so the body's actually being told to upregulate cortisol, stress hormones that keep us awake. We want to do the opposite. We want to drop cortisol of an afternoon and an evening, calm the body down, slow things down, get ourselves into rest and digest mode, and allow the body to recover and do all the amazing things that it needs to do to keep you healthy and disease free, etc. So wind down earlier. A cooler room is being said to be better for better quality sleep as well. But I would really focus on your sleep hygiene. What is that routine of an evening when we're winding down? Because these days, I think we're all guilty of it, like being on our phones right up until the last second before we go to bed. Even having a phone by our bedside table. And if we wake up during the night, we check it and we look at the screen, and that light comes in and affects us as well, etc. Maybe an alarm clock by the bed and the phone's not in the room. Little things like that can go a long way for improving quality of sleep, but focus on boosting the quality of your sleep. Number 8 is stress management and mindset. So a huge topic and a huge factor when we look at health and optimizing performance. When we look at managing stress at the moment, stress levels are being spiked so much by fear and by anxiety and by uncertainty and by people losing their jobs and things shutting down and being forced to stay home, etc. So it's really important that we are aware of our state. We're aware of how are we responding to what's going on. What are we doing to look after our mindset and reduce stress levels as well? Because it's all about balance, right? Our body is designed to handle and actually do well off short bursts of stress. It's a survival mechanism. You know, going back to caveman days, so if a lion came out and was about to try and eat me or attack me, for example, the body all of a sudden has this huge stress response where it shoots up cortisol, adrenaline and noradrenaline into the body and puts all the blood out into arms and legs so they can they call it fight or flight response. And you can either fight the lion or run away. I'd probably, do the flight and I'd probably run. I wouldn't try and take on a lion, but that's the body's survival, right? It's there for a reason to protect us. The other side of our central nervous system and stress management, etc., is the rest and digest side, parasympathetic side of the nervous system. That is where all the healing and the recovery and the resting and digesting and the hormone balancing and the body's recovery and all that happens. So that's a really, really important thing to be aware of as well. And how much time are we spending in this highly stressed state? And how much time are we spending in the parasympathetic side where we're calm and we're nice and cool and we're looking after ourselves as well. So the problem is at the moment we're being stimulated constantly with this fear side of things and people thinking that the world is going to end and we're going to run out of food or all sorts of things as well. So I encourage you to manage your perspective as much as you can in terms of what's going on at the moment. Do some quality work around your mindset. Keep yourself in a grateful state as much as you possibly can, and don't allow yourself to get consumed in stress right now. Be aware of what is your physiological state, because when we're stressed, your heart rate will go up, okay? Your breathing will go short and shallow. So having awareness around what your body is doing is a really good indicator as to where you're sitting in the either parasympathetic side or sympathetic side of your central nervous system. So for me, for example, something that happens to me, I'll be working and be busy, and all of a sudden I'll just take note, what is your breath doing right now? And if we're just doing these real short, shallow breaths, and if we simply just take a few nice, big, slow, deep breaths, we can slow things back down and we can lean ourselves back over to the parasympathetic side where we want to spend more of our time as well. So awareness is key, and then tools around breath work and meditation and mindset and journaling, which we're going to go more into, and we're running classes on to help you guys with that at the moment as well. Tip number 9, guys, is to limit your exposure to technology, to social media, and also to the news. Now, there's nothing wrong with these things at all. I'm not here to say what's right or wrong. I'm just trying to give you guys advice on what I think will really serve you through this period. And one of those things is let's start with the news. At the moment, there's this constant bombardment of a lot of negative things and challenges and hysteria, etc. Now, it's really important to be aware of what's going on. There's a lot of risk. There's people that are sick. There's people that are dying, etc. But if we sit there and watch hours and hours and hours of the news on a daily basis, it starts to flood your mindset and your brain into thinking that this is the worst thing that has ever happened to mankind and the world is actually going to end. And it will then spike your stress levels, and it just pushes you to only see one side of what's actually happening. Okay, so in my opinion, my advice would be to know what's happening, check in, etc., but just to don't get overwhelmed with the hysteria. The media at the end of the day does a great job, sensationalizing things, and that's part of how they operate. Okay, so I'm not here to say the news is bad, but I'm just saying we need to be aware of that. Social media, similar thing. There's so much being put into our faces as well. The other thing with this constant stimulus, guys, it doesn't give us time to actually just sit back and just think clearly for ourselves and organize things in our brain and just get some clarity. And if we're constantly being fed inputs from, phones and screens and newspapers and socials and all that sort of stuff, we never give ourselves a break from the time we wake up to the time we go to bed. So my recommendation there, guys, is just be aware of that. Reduce it a little bit if you can. Give yourself some time without screens potentially as well. And technology, same thing. Sometimes we'll be on our phone, we jump into a computer, then we go to the TV, and then we're back on the computer, and then we're on our phone, and then we go to bed, and then we do it all again. So reduce and just limit your time spent on social media and watching the news and on screens as well. And I highly encourage everybody to get back to aim to be as present as you can with loved ones, with some of the beautiful things that are happening right here in front of us right now that we're often distracted from, that we take for granted because we're tied up in these things here. Number 10 here, guys, is to make time for the things that you love. We are presented right now with a brilliant opportunity in all the chaos and challenges. The opposite side of that is we can dedicate some time to spending more time with loved ones, reconnecting with people that we haven't spoken to for a long time because we've been busy, expressing how we really feel about people that we often probably don't say because we're just in that bit of a rat race day to day, for example. When we think about this, and I encourage you to really think hard about this, what are the things that you might have been putting off? What are some of the things that you really, really love doing that you haven't been putting time and effort into because you've been too worried about other stuff? Can you make time right now for some of the things that you really love, whether it's reading, listening to something, catching up with certain friends, even by virtual or phones or whatever that might be, playing board games, playing an instrument, listening to this type of podcast, learning a new language, learning how to play the guitar, learn a topic. What's something that you really love you might want to learn about? We can all come out of the other side of this, upskilled and, much more educated on topics that are going to serve us at a much higher level, on the other side as well. There's a lot of positives that are coming up right now as well. So I encourage you guys to keep looking for those and keep serving those. But things that you love, it might be making love, don't, put things off. Make the most of the beauty that is around us right now and schedule that in. We've got a good opportunity where there's some less distractions happening. Some of us don't have to go to work, etc. So we can, make time to be more present with the people that we really love as well. All right, Team Definition Legends. That's our top 10 tips to maximize your results right now and stay fit, stay healthy, stay strong, and manage body composition and even get leaner and stronger through the process with the training that we're taking you guys through as well. I hope you guys enjoyed that. I look forward to bringing you much more content and support over the next period. Thank you so much for being a part of it, and I'll see you in the next video. Peace.